Hello, today I'm going to explain dynamic web pages, and we will discuss what they are, how they work, and different subcategories within dynamic pages. Firstly, what is a dynamic web page? A dynamic web page is as opposed to a static web page. If every user that visits a specific URL or a specific website receives the same web page in return, or sees the same exact information as every other user, that website is known as a static web page. If, however, every user receives different information, which changes based on the user and different information with regards to the user, that web page is classified as dynamic. Here are some examples of dynamic web pages you may have come across while surfing the web. In our first example, news.google.com, we see a web page which displays different news articles. The news articles that a user will see will depend based on the time of the day that they're accessing this website. Therefore, if a user accesses the website in the morning and accesses the website again in the evening, likely they will see a different set of news articles in the evening based on what's relevant at the current time. Similarly, weather.com, or our second example on the slide, is also an example of a dynamic web page. The weather information that is displayed will differ based on the user's location data. Therefore, a user who accesses the website from San Jose, California will see a different web page and therefore different weather information than somebody who accesses this website, let's say, from the East Coast. Finally, the last example on the slide is youtube.com. On the front page of youtube.com, YouTube displays the most relevant and the most popular videos at the given time. Therefore, a user who accesses this website will see a different set of videos based on what's popular at the time of them having accessed the website. So to summarize, what are some of the reasons why you would choose a dynamic website over a static website? Some of the benefits of a dynamic website is that the information displayed is more personalized, like the example of weather information. Therefore, that information can be more personalized based on the user which is accessing the website. Similarly, dynamic web pages display more relevant data, like the example of news.google.com. That information will change based on what information is most relevant and most up to date for that user at that given time. Finally, the information that a dynamic web page can display is more than that which a static web page can display. The reason for this is that different users are able to be displayed different sets of information. Therefore, all the information doesn't have to be hidden away in different web pages or links and can equally be displayed on the web page to different users based on what's relevant at the given time. To understand how this all works, we can compare this basic diagram of a static web page versus a dynamic web page. When a user visits a static web page, he sends a request to the server. That server which is hosting that website will then send back the pre-prepared static web page which has been set to that URL. However, when a user visits a dynamic web page, the server, because of the absence of a pre-prepared website, will not have a URL to send back. Therefore, it will then move on to the server-side processing, which will then relay that request to the database. The database contains all the information that that website can display. For instance, in the example of YouTube, every single YouTube video that is on their platform. That database will then send that information back to the server-side processing, which will then decide what information out of the database is most relevant and should be displayed on the user's web page. That information is then moved forward to the server, which creates a new personalized dynamic web page and sends it to the user. Most of the examples we've seen so far are examples of client-side dynamic web pages. A client-side dynamic web page changes the information displayed on a specific web page or a specific screen based on the needs of the user. This page will be rendered in real time by the user's computer itself. In other examples of dynamic web pages, the information can change between two screens based on the request given by the specific user. An example of this is a login page. When you enter your information, your username and password into a login page, you see a page which is personalized for you, different from that which other users see. In this regard, Server-side dynamic web pages are more secure than client-side dynamic web pages and are useful for applications where the information is sensitive or private and you would not want more than that specific user to be able to access that information. Thank you for watching.